my friend Randy and I met our friends Kara and Jason at the Wallowa Lake trailhead around 8 a.m. We took the East Fork Wallowa Trail, which starts off with an immediate climb at the edge of the East Fork Wallowa River. During the first couple of miles, there were tons of berries that I don't generally see on a lot of my other hikes, such as elderberries, red and black currant, and thimbleberries. The higher we climbed, the better the views became, even though it was an overcast day. There were views of Wallowa Lake below, and some awesome little waterfalls and wildflowers. The trail continued steadily uphill with a few rocks on the trail, but mostly it was a dusty dirt path. At around 5 miles into the hike, there were some awesome meadows with views of the surrounding mountains like Bonneville Mountain and nearby Aneroid Mountain. We arrived at Aneroid Lake a little bit after 1 p.m. and we sat at the lake shore to eat lunch. Even though it was a sunny day, the wind was very cold, so we decided to look for camp spots that were a little bit away from the lake. Along the way to our camp, we found this little slice of heaven on the south side of the lake where folks have hand-built some cabins, which you can actually rent out. I will link the website for that below. These are extremely rustic cabins, and you do have to hike in to stay at them. Across a big meadow from the cabins, we found a great camp spot for our 4 tents. After setting up camp, we explored the cabin area some more, got some water out of the handy spigot there, and then went to the lake again to take some pictures. Our tents are frozen. There's ice chunks in our water. And yeah, it's just very cold this morning. Putting my gear to the test, I will say. My sleeping bag was toasty warm, so that's nice. Sun is rising. There's the lake over there. Aneroid Mountain. And just everything is frozen. Look at the grass. Burr. Just burr. After scraping ice off of our tents and packing up, we continued on the East Fork Wallowa Trail and climbed over Tenderfoot Pass. From there, the trails split and we took the Polaris Trail. The scenery up to Polaris Pass was absolutely incredible, and we didn't see a single person on the trail the entire day until we got to our destination at Frasier Lake.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
Fucking shit. Oh my God. It's like a freaking rainbow.
We stopped for a lengthy snack break because it was still too early to have lunch, and then we made our way down the 46 longest switchbacks of my life down the other side of the pass. After almost 5 miles of switchbacks, we ate lunch and then continued on the West Fork Wallowa Trail. We crossed the West Fork Wallowa River, which was an easy crossing this year due to the very dry summer and early snowmelt. Shortly after, we arrived at Frasier Lake. We found a campsite big enough for our 4 tents, and we spent some time at the lake, washing off and enjoying the view. Luckily, no freezing temperatures on night 2, so we had a much easier time packing up. We had a very short day ahead of us, so Randy and I took our time enjoying our breakfast and the steep hike up to Glacier Lake. Kara and Jason were already up at Glacier Lake when we arrived, and we all enjoyed a snack break. We saw a huge male mountain goat, and we loved the views of Eagle Cap across the lake. From Glacier Lake, we climbed over Glacier Pass, and unfortunately some wildfire smoke started to move into the lake's basin, obscuring some of the views. We were originally going to camp at Mirror Lake, but we got intel from oncoming hikers that Mirror Lake was very crowded and that Moccasin Lake is better. Once we got to Moccasin Lake, we quickly realized that this was the better swimming lake and there were far less people. We set up camp, had lunch, and then enjoyed some time in the water.
3, 2, 1, go! You think you're not going to swim around some? No. It's cold, huh?
We got up at the crack of dawn and ate breakfast to a beautiful sunrise. We left camp set up and just took our essentials to go summit Eagle Cap, which was just over 6 miles round trip. Smoke was moving in quick, and the climb to the top was not easy. But the summit was incredible, with 360-degree views of the entire Wallowa mountain range. We spent a good hour up there before heading back down to our camp at Moccasin Lake. We ate lunch and then packed up and hiked in the heat of the day to Horseshoe Lake via the Moccasin Trail. We passed Douglas Lake, Lee Lake, and then arrived at Horseshoe Lake in the mid-afternoon. We had an epic camp spot at Horseshoe Lake with a perfect spot for swimming. From our camp, we could see Pete's Point and Sentinel Peak with Polaris Pass in between. We woke up to thick smoke filling the air, but we enjoyed our last morning on the trail as long as we could. The descent from Horseshoe Lake via the Lake's Basin Trail was pretty steep, but it was almost entirely through the forest, which was a lovely change. We crossed the West Fork Wallowa River, which had incredibly low flow for early August, and then we had a snack break at 6 Mile Meadow. We continued downhill on the West Fork Wallowa Trail a few more miles and had an early lunch at a lovely camp by the river where the Ice Lake Trail turns off. Kara and Jason were staying 2 more days in the area, so they headed up to Ice Lake and summited Matterhorn the next day. I did this trek last year, and you can watch that trip vlog. I will link it right here. After lunch, it was just another 2.7 miles back to the trailhead. Our trip totaled 44 miles, and it was such a wonderful loop. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.